Mosaic Learners and Teachers. Good day. So, yesterday was April 20th, and some people question how I felt about the day. I actually broke something down to somebody that I'm going to reiterate. There's been many practices out there, religious, spiritual, various different states of consciousness. And in some of those practices, there was an incorporation of herbs, spices, etc., to reach higher states of consciousness. Depending on the person's practice, their belief system, their perspective, some choose to use it for higher states of consciousness. What that entails, and we're talking about cannabis, what that entails is the understanding that there's a certain amount of usage as well as intent when it comes down to incorporating certain practices. So in some cases, overusage can lead to low vibrational frequencies. But if you are using it consciously, particular, I would say, amounts, as well as the grade, it can actually assist with higher states of consciousness if you happen to be in an environment that's already low vibrational. That's just the truth. If you are in a high vibrational environment, chances are you're less likely even feel like you want to do that, because it's also directly related to your nervous system. Marijuana usage has been known to assist with, your fight and flight response, PTSD, etc., while your nervous system rebuilds. Okay. Again, we can use frequencies for that. But if you are set up in a situation where the frequencies around you are purposely low vibrational, sometimes you have to adapt and manage in different ways, and that's what a lot of people don't know. It's real easy to judge. It really, really is, because when people lack knowledge, they don't research either. A lot of people, they'll ask a question, and they really don't want to know the answer. They just want to be able to take your answer and switch it up. And then present it the way that they can perceive it, because a lot of them are limited in that way. But for those that are pursuing higher states of consciousness, I never ever say do this and do that with regards to your walk. What I will say is be conscious of it. And if there's anything that I can do to help, I will. One of the things that I wrote down, which I just thought that it was funny, because I just, people forget that we learn from each other too. We are reflecting our inner selves when we see other people out there. We have to always question ourselves, like, are they reflecting something within us? Chances are, yeah. So, for example, when you're dealing with your feminine emotional body, a lot of times you might get outside energies that will come and present themselves as masculine, and unfortunately they'll be carrying more feminine characteristics than masculine. And if you're looking for somebody to carry more masculine energy, then it could become very confusing. One example that I gave someone who present themselves as a masculine was yesterday, when we talked about accountability and everything like that. A lot of the patriotic masculine structures claim to take responsibility for their actions. They claim that they use their solar plexus for higher states of consciousness, but yet they use their solar plexus to deplete aspects of the whole. So if you're trying to prevent a feminine energy from fully embracing her feminine energy, what you're saying is that you don't even like the fact that you exist as a masculine, because you can only exist if the feminine provides a certain amount of creativity, love, and energy. And when we say the feminine energy, we're not talking about it being separate. We're all interconnected. We're not separate. But sometimes we have to look at how the energies interplay in order for us to understand our wholeness. Okay? So one of the things that I wanted to write down, I wrote this down. I didn't go through the pile. It just came to me. If you know someone is hungry, instead of gossiping, offer food. If you're worried about someone working, instead of gossiping, offer them a job. If you are unsure of information, research it on your own before you play the child telephone game. Y'all remember that game? The one where the teacher would tell the first child a sentence or a thought. And then by the time it got to like the 21st child, or however as many is in a class, and the last child is being asked to stand up, the message is totally different. And that's what I mean, you know. So I may have an interaction with a soul that Father, Mother, God presented me. And I will tell them something. It was really meant for them, their soul. But at that point in time, they have the opportunity to sit down, meditate on it, and see how they can apply it to their lives to improve. Or they can take that information, twist it, manipulate it, and create an illusion for themselves, which then also creates a lower vibration, which then creates more trauma inside of their life. When we break down energy, we have to understand that we are the creators. Even those that walk in quote, female bodies, okay? First of all, historically, the female cycle is 10 months. We play with calendars and all of that, but that's a whole nother story. I guess today I just wanted to point out that, you know, in my experience, I'm not saying that gossip in itself is horrible. Sometimes that gossip can actually result in somebody being assisted and helped. What I'm saying is when the gossip is just purely for ill intent and ill will, and to also continue to distort a reality. Again, you know, a lot of things have been spread about me, and these people don't even know me. I'm not bringing up the past. I'm just identifying how our human experience is a representation of our inner world. Am I worthy enough to say, you know what, I don't care about what they think, because the reality is that they're looking at you, realizing that they have to look at themselves, okay? There's no way that we all live here and I'm the only one that remember a lot of stuff. So sometimes God don't force people to open up their mouth about the truth. Sometimes God asks them to go within so that they can speak to the God within, which then would be reflected to the God without. They'll start seeing the truth outside of themselves. Some people don't want to look at their shadows because it's very hurtful. But it's really just cleanup time. So regardless if we got to mop, we got to mop the inside of us, all right? I'm getting all creative today. Got to get all that dirt out. And that's how you free yourself. But it's not for everybody. And again, we got males, females, we got divine feminine, divine masculine. I'm not fighting nobody. I am a creator. I'm an artist. I am that because I am connected to a higher source who loves me unconditionally. Therefore, I don't require that from anything outside of myself. If it comes, I'm very grateful, because then that's the universe's way of saying, hey, you know, here's a team for you to work with, or here's a moment in time for you to meet a soulmate that'll enrich your life. And they might not even stay, but at least they were there for that particular time. If we're going to gossip and we're going to degrade somebody for not having something, then maybe we should be also thinking about how can we help them. With that, I want to say I love the one consciousness. We are shooting for higher states of consciousness, no matter how uncomfortable it is for low vibrational beings. One love.